Hey, peep the commentary. Listen, listen.
Get ready to take the tip against Scotty Barnes.
Like, why does that have to be his opening line to the game? Why is that the first thing that came to his mind when he did the introductions, bro? These commentators be sus. They be ayo. But as I'm going through these clips, this is nothing towards the players because they're not playing anything near 100%. They're not trying to get injured for the regular season. This is so that you could learn something, how to read certain actions and do certain things to your game that can help you be better. Or if you just like to watch basketball. Now, what I want you to watch here is this weak side over here. What's going on? You see Matherin come up, right? Ivy on the clear out, Paulo on the step up, but Murphy recognizes this action at the top. Murphy sees this, and instead of following along with Ivy and clearing out, he stays in the paint as if he's still guarding somebody in this corner. Because this is a misdirection. But now switch perspectives. Now let's talk about Alvarado. Alvarado has to recognize that Murphy did not leave this paint and clear out with Ivy. So this lob is now open. Although he sees this, Murphy is a great athlete. He's in the dunk contest. Great athlete. So he's definitely going to be able to make a play on this ball. And so what Alvarado has to read is now that since he's still in the paint, while the ball is still on the strong side, there's a 2-on-1 in this corner. But this 2-on-1 will not be able to work because of spacing in this corner. Because Barnes should have rose up a little bit higher, probably in this area over here, and then leave Ivy in this corner so that once Kessler does come out and try to play 2-on-1, he's actually guarding 2-on-1 instead of being able to be in one spot and be able to guard both players. You know what I'm saying? So you got to always make the reads and think from different perspectives when it comes to being able to learn from film and whatnot. And we've seen this Paulo matchup against Franz last night. We've seen a couple of them. It's just new to us. It's not new to them. They do it in practice every day. So I'm surprised I ain't see Franz go back at him a few more times. And I wish we'd have seen more ISOs between players. All y'all always wonder, how could I get more playing time? How could I see the court more? How could I get my coach to like me? It's doing these little things, such as having high energy like Jose Alvarado. Just like Jose Alvarado, anybody can have high energy. It's just about, are you willing to do it? Are you willing to get conditioned so you can continuously do it day in and day out? Because having high energy, you cannot have a cold day of having high energy like you can with your shot, like you can with your skills and all that. You'll have high energy every single game as long as you stay disciplined to it and you don't get yourself lazy. Because energy should not go nowhere. And that's why Jose Alvarado was able to be undrafted and yet find himself a spot on the team. And it looks like he's going to have himself a 10, 12, 15-year career in the NBA. Because he just plays his role. He does what he needs to do. And he's willing to do the things other players aren't willing to do. Hey, and the fact they had him mic'd up, that was hilarious, bro. And they let him curse on the mic too, bro. I'm knocking that down. That's crazy, bro. That's ridiculous. It's like playing a game in the gym with an AirPod in talking on the phone. That's ridiculous, bro. I'm driving. Nah, bro. It was funny. It was comedy, bro. And by the way, make sure you subscribe, like, and turn on notifications because we're dropping breakdowns daily. And these breakdowns coming live very soon. So go hit that link in the description. Go follow. Let's get right back to it. It's comedy. Cutter. This was comedy, bro. I'm telling you. Another thing I want to talk about passing, bro. There's so many angles that you could be able to make a pass. Nembhard sees this passing angle right here. It's like Franz is going to throw his hands low because anytime somebody gets backdoored, they turn their body and throw their hands low. So instead of hitting that gap right there, he goes behind the back and leads him directly underneath the rim. Now, you always wonder, how does Jokic make these crazy passes? How does Luka make these passes? LeBron, all these great passes. Chris Paul, Halliburton. How do they make all these crazy passes? It's because their mind is not accustomed to only doing the textbook passes and the textbook things. They think outside of the box. So although your coach may say chest pass, bounce pass, never do a one-handed pass, all those players for a long time developed the skill to actually pass and developed the mind capacity to throw all these passes. So instead of just being textbook all the time, they reached outside the box. Now, did they get a lot of turnovers sometimes? Of course they did. It's a learning curve, just like everything we do. But it's got to start somewhere. And just know as you go through that first phase of doing things that's kind of outside the box that you're not used to, it's gonna feel weird. You're gonna get some slack for it. They're gonna question you for it. But in time, if you continue to work at it, you're gonna end up getting it. And listen to Alvarado. He's about to give you some game too.
and everybody got a role. There's a lot of superstar types to score. So for you to lock in and play a role, it's not all about scoring. This game is a beautiful game. We can play a lot of things.
Jose,
Telling you, bro. Not everybody is designed to be that number 1 player, that number 2 player, the 20-point per game player, 30-point per game player. Everybody's not designed to do that. It's about being able to do what you do best. Because at the end of the day, what role players do is something that the LeBrons and Jordans can't do. And I don't care what you say. If he put his mind to it, but the thing is, his mind won't allow himself to do so. There are things on the court that each player does that another player can't do. I don't care who you talk about. You can tell, if you try to tell LeBron to be a spot-up shooter, a 3-and-D player, it just can't happen. It's just not happening. I don't care what you say, how great he is. If you put his mind to it, no, it just can't happen. He won't be able to play that role. His mind won't be able to do so. But it's really just boils down to you finding what you're good at and not trying to be like anybody else. Everybody has a role to play. I don't care who it is. Number 1 player, number 15 player. They all got some sort of role. Now you got to find yours.
Jabari Smith.
Ooh, that was a crazy air ball right there. But let me talk about this. Notice his base on going into the size up.
Jabari Smith.
Pretty vertical, right? Now that's how you're going to stop yourself from having momentum and rhythm to get into your shot. Now I couldn't find a good example right now, but literally just watch KD when he goes into the size ups. Literally just watch his base and see how it differs from what Jabari Smith does right here. You're going to see a hinge in the knees a little bit, a hinge in the hips, see him loaded, good rhythm. And it contrasts strikingly different to a player like KD.
This is Tari East in the game for the first time.
Great defense from Scottie Pippen Jr. I'm telling you, defense is not about being the strongest, having the strongest bench press, having the strongest squat, deadlift. It's not about Olympic strength. It's about functional strength. Scottie Pippen Jr., obvious size disadvantage right here. You could clearly see it. Probably a few inches lower, probably about 20, 30 pounds lighter. But he's still staying in front. Bump, still in front. Takes another bump and is able to get his teammate comes from behind and gets the pick. But they turn it right back over though. Hey, I always talk about this. I always talk about pace. I'm telling you, I always talk about pace. Peep his demeanor and peep his pace. Everything is telling his defender he's going to go into a handoff. Everything. But then, boom, last second, he gets it to a few stutters, but those stutters don't cause the defender to be able to react. It just doesn't do enough. Peep that right there. You see that little stutter? It's not enough to make the defender react. And then he plants that 1 foot down and goes. By that time, he already has a gap. He has to turn open up. Free lane to the rim. It's all about pace and how you set things up. Great block by Paolo. Paolo has absolutely everything to lose if he gets dunked on this game. As a matter of fact, he could just stood there and not went for the block. But he still went for the block. Player who just wants to win games regardless of what weight it holds. And the Scotty Barnes, a goddamn extendo dunk. Goddamn. Bro, he barely even had to jump, bro. That just tells you something about how actually tall and big, pause, these NBA players are. Now peep Jabari Smith. Peep Jabari Smith. Notice when he goes to actually try to get the ball and make a play. When the ball is in the air. When the ball is in the air. You've got to be able to read actions, internalize it, and then turn it into reactions. Don't just stand there and watch things go on and not move and react to it. You got to internalize, read actions, then react to actions. Now, Jabari Smith clearly sees this roll going on. He sees Barnes rolling to the rim. He sees Mathurin attacking. And then, boom, he throws his lob, but he's already too late. He was just standing there watching. Don't get stuck in the mud. Don't get stuck in the mud. He already stepped up and been that help and forced that skip to Keegan Murray in that corner and then made that closeout. Great hands by Grimes. Great hands by Grimes. I want you to notice one thing, though. Is the point at which Grimes goes for that swipe. Paulo hits that tug, then gets up into a shot, and then he hits that swipe. Because when you tug it, the ball is further to your right. But then as you get up into your shot, it's going to come back a little more middle as you go up into get into your shot pocket. But what Paulo did that allowed Grimes to actually be here in this situation and how we could prevent this from happening is from having a setup that kind of misdirects Grimes, it creates a little more separation and doesn't allow him to be in the middle of his body as he gets up into that shot. Because he's leading him right. And so he's about to sidestep right. And then Grimes uses the size that he has to be able to make a play on that ball. So had Paulo said, kind of got a little more separation, use a little more of his legs to get some more separation, then hit that sidestep, it could have been a difference between him hitting the ball and him hitting his arm. Hey, and Grimes had 14 in his last game. And Alvarado came in, he took on that task of guarding Grimes. Playing hard the whole time. You don't care if it's just a regular Rise of Stars game. And even though he's hot, even though he's the player going on the court, all great players are going to be able to get to where they want to eventually. It's just about how hard are you going to make them work. It's not about being able to stop them every single time. It's just about making them work hard. And that's what you. And shots like this, if he made this, you'll just have to live with it. 22-20, just like the park, you hunting that three just to win the game. When you're in the gym, Alvarado knocked it down. And he had a side bet going with Donovan Mitchell too. And let me tell you this. Alvarado was the only undrafted player in this game. But what did you notice? He was playing the hardest, had the most energy, picked up on defense the whole time from the first game start to the last game. Always making cuts, always talking. Even I guarantee he'll still talking even when the mic was turned off. It's because he has a little grit to him. If you're a player who's doubted, player whose odds are against him, who have something to prove, take all that stuff and translate it back into the game and play even harder. Play even harder. No surprise, Alvarado's team was the one to win this game because he brought that energy more so than all these other players. And that's why, like I said before, he's panning out to have himself a 12, 15, maybe even longer NBA career. And I guarantee you he also gets into some sort of basketball even after he stops playing because the spirit and the energy that he plays the game and the passion that he has for it when you see him play the game. Make sure you subscribe, like, turn on those notifications. Make sure you go hit that link in the description. Go follow. Live streams coming very soon. And we out of here.